This year, we celebrated my husband's 70th birthday. Prior to the celebrations, I just had this leading in my spirit to be praying for him. So the celebration held successfully. We had a big Thanksgiving. We had the party. Afterwards, this was in May. And then in June, we decided to go on a planned vacation. And I remember when Pastor Jerry had announced that we were going to have the mid-year fast and it would coincide with our travel period, I was just like, I wish we could, just postpone this. But everything had been paid, and so we went. But all through our vacation period, I kept joining the morning prayers and then the breaking of fast prayers. Religiously, we did that. We spent a week on the actual vacation, and then we went to a health facility. This was one of the gifts that he had received from a company that he had just retired or stepped down from as chairman. And so we went to this health facility we'd always wanted to go to. It was a week-long program, where you go to detox and all of that. And of course, we did, our yearly medicals. The day before we were supposed to end the program, he came back from one of his appointments and said, the ultrasound scan showed that there was something in our enemy's kidney. And so I said, no, that is not even for you. That's not even for you. He said, anyway, they've said he needed to do a CT scan on the day that we were supposed to leave. So I said, okay, we've been praying. He goes for the MRI scan and calls me from there and says, sweetheart, they say I have cancer. I'm like, no, you don't have cancer. We cannot have gone through 14 days and then this is the result that we're receiving. There is nothing like that. I went down in the hotel room and I put my hands on the ground and I said, oh, earth, earth, earth. Hear me as I hear the Lord. You will not receive his body. He came back, we packed our things, and we left. So we returned to Nigeria. Prior to arriving, we had already decided that we would come to the hospital here, that he also attends, and just do a repeat test. Because, when things like this happen, you are beginning to even question the machines there. So we thought that the machines in Nigeria were better than the ones over there. So we said, okay, we'll come and repeat here. We got in here on the 14th. On the 15th, I came in here first. I said, before we go to the hospital, I'll come in here for the morning prayers. So I came for the morning prayers, and all the declarations, Pastor was just declaring, they were like specific to our own case. I'll just skip to the following day. So we went to the hospital on that 15th. So the doctor here at the hospital said, okay, let me see the result that you brought there. Let's see the CD of the MRI. And I had just decided I was not going to show any such negative things. So I said, we can't find the CD. So my husband said, okay, we can go back home and bring. I said, no, we can't find it. Anyway, the doctor said, okay, I'm going to send you back for another scan here. He did a scan, an ultrasound scan, and the result came out. They were querying RCC, renal cell carcinoma. I said, okay, I have a name for you. The following morning on the 16th, I came here with the CD that we got from the MRI in Germany, with the results that we got also from there, and the one that we had gotten the previous day. And Pastor, that morning, Pastor Jerry, we prayed and prayed and prayed as always. And then Pastor Jerry said, if you came here with any negative report, bring out your reports, tear, match on your reports, tear. I tore everything. I did not have anything else to tear. I got out the CD and I broke it. I scattered the CD. I was standing there. I broke everything up. And then after I'd broken everything up, when we left, I started thinking, I said, what if we go to hospital and they still want to see this thing? What will I now say? And up till now, if my husband is watching, this is the first time that he knows that I broke that CD. Because almost everywhere we went, they'll be asking, where is the CD? I said, just do your own. Don't be asking for what somebody else did. Just be doing your own. And so we went back that morning after I'd broken up the CD. We went to the hospital here again, and the doctor was still asking for that. So I said, the CD is not available. We don't have it anymore. So he said he was going to ask him, okay, since you don't have the report, the CD, you're going to have to repeat. This time we'll do a CT scan, we'll do this, we'll do that. We left the hospital. He kept taking the communion every day. Every day we would pray, we would give him the communion he would take. And then he was scheduled to go back to see his doctors on the 13th of this month, which was last week, Wednesday. When he was planning, I asked, am I coming with you? He said, no, you stay behind. If there is any need, then I'll ask you to come. So I said, there'll be no need. Just go ahead. God has already settled it. He arrived on Wednesday, which was the 13th, went for another ultrasound scan. Now his regular doctor there had now asked another doctor to check. So he went to another facility also, and they did the ultrasound scan on Wednesday, and then he texted me, sent me a message and said, they said they can't find anything in my kidney. They said they can't find anything. I said, they are not going to see anything because it is already settled. It had already been settled. That day, I remember the prayer that day was like, it is done. It is finished. And so he waited, the CT scan. He said, anyway, they said I still have to do a CT scan. I said, that's just going to be for confirmation. And then we believed it. On this Friday, just the day before yesterday, that Friday morning, on the altar of fire. That's the day we were praying about the harvest being ripe and we were reaping. I don't know how many of you remembered. So throw in the sickle, reap, the harvest is ripe.
An angel cried out in heaven to him that sits in the cloud, and he said, trust in thy sickle, trust in thy sickle, trust in thy sickle, and begin to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe.
I was reaping healing. I was reaping health. I was reaping a good report. Everything good. And so the second communion for that Friday, Pastor said, and this second communion is the communion that says a clean bill of health.
People of God, I don't know who this is for. But before today is over, in the second communion, a miracle is waiting for you today. What I hear in my spirit is clean bill of health.
So I grabbed it. I texted him. I said, you are coming back with your clean bill of health. And he also received it. And then Pastor also said, in addition to that, he said, it will be as if nothing, it will be as if it never happened.
What I hear in my spirit, like it never happened.
He goes in for the CT. And then I'm sitting in my office that Friday afternoon. And then all of a sudden a message enters. And I see, I don't have cancer. Because they had said already that RCC's renal cell carcinoma. He said, I do not. I threw my phone on the floor. I grabbed my tambourine. I was all over the office from the top floor to the... And then my staff were asking, what's the matter? I said, you people will not even understand. I cannot even tell anybody of this until I have gone back to the place where the testimony came from to share it. And so I called him, and he was crying, a grown man. I said, why are you crying inside doctor's office? How can you be folding my hand like this? That was when I understood, the magnitude of the anxiety that he had been bottling up. If it's us women, we'll just be saying it as it is, broadcasting. He said, I am shedding tears of joy. So that these tears, they are tears of joy. I can now eat. I can now sleep well. I can now do this. I said, I am going to the altar. Pastor Jerry and everybody needs to hear this because of a truth, what God cannot do does not exist. And then to crown it all up, yesterday, which was Saturday, this was the day after the good news. He had said, he was going to have I said, now you now have mouths to be eating, or you're now eating dinner.